And because he had such an active, caring presence in the boy's life, their parents wouldn't notice a thing. If the boy started acting out or misbehaving, or stating he no longer wanted to hang out with Mr. G, he'd assured the parents that this is because he was turning into a teenager. Nothing more, nothing less. And usually, because of how their parents had given their permission to hang out with them, that would lead to them being preyed upon. Most of the victims of Giovandito that they thought their parents knew and didn't care, leading to them never openly telling anyone about it after it happened. At the time, his actions didn't appear predatory to anyone around him, and according to everyone at the school he worked at, his record was spotless, with not one complaint about inappropriate behavior coming in. The only time someone around him seemed to feel odd about his actions and how he seemed to gravitate towards younger boys was when one of his former students became a colleague of his. Peter Klein had been a student of Giovandito when he was teaching at Lerman, and then later worked alongside him when he moved to Crossroads. He had remembered Giovandito as an amazing teacher who always took time to be with his students and let them know he cared. He also recalled the lavish trips that he would take the class on and how much fun they were when he attended. However, as an adult and as a teacher, he began to realize how odd that practice was. He was now in the position that Mr. G had been in all those years ago, working long days with large groups of rowdy children, trying to get them to care about what he had to say, and he realized just how exhausting it was. It was only then, as he realized how hard the job was and how thankless it was, how little sense it made for him to spend his own money to take his class on trips. But Peter's discomfort wasn't enough to file a complaint, and after years of teaching, Giovandito finally retired and moved to Celebration, into the home where he would later be killed with an axe. After Matteo Patrick Giovandito retired from teaching and preying on his students, he made the decision to move his operation into Disney World's premier perfect town, Celebration. Much like Celebration, Mr. G had been putting up a facade his entire life. The perfect teacher who cared about his students, who never wanted anything more from them than their respect. His affinity with all things Disney, and the fact that he had used the Disney parks as a place to prey on unsuspecting students, made the move even more fitting. However, because he had retired and moved on from any activity where he would be in the company of young boys, he found himself at a loss. He would have to find a new way to find victims, in a way that wouldn't lead his neighbors of suspecting him of anything unbecoming, which was much more important in Celebration than other places. Seeing as the town had a list of over 100 rules for their residents to follow to continue to appear perfect to the outside. Luckily for Matteo, he had been an early adopter of computers, and in kind, the internet. Despite the fact that any information on him prior to his murder is non-existent online, Matteo had been one of the first people to buy an at-home computer, and 2 out of his 3 email addresses were simply 1 character long, meaning he had 2 of the first 28 emails ever. He was hyper aware that the internet could be used to find people, namely men, who were looking for a short-term companion. He started making posts on Craigslist, looking for a companion to come and keep him company during the nights.